Welcome to Business Success Tips, where you learn to make more money in less time and have more fun, especially the have more fun part. I'm your host, Paul Sanneman, and I'm founder of Contractor Staffing Source, where we help contractors build great teams. So I have as my guest today, Adam McChesney from Builders of Authority. That sounds like I don't know, it's almost scary. Like, is that your superpower or something? I don't know. I got a cool
We could
little look there. So
we could
tell me
go into
what
that.
Builders of Authority is and what you do and how it might help the people listening to this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. So Builders of Authority is something that empowers contractors to build their business, but more importantly, build a personal brand that supports their business that can also be transferred to their sales team if they are a big enough company. So I spent 6 years building multiple different marketing agencies on the digital side, built hundreds of websites myself, and then built hundreds of websites under an agency. Grew a large team, managed multi-million-dollar a month ad spends, working with hundreds and hundreds of contractors. And whether the contractor was just getting started or they had been in business and doing millions and millions of dollars, a lot of them needed similar plans and similar budgets. So Builders of Authority was really to empower the contracting company based on where they are at in business to leverage their organic social media channels. So the personal Facebook of Adam, the personal Facebook of Paul, the personal Facebook of the sales team, for example, to go and get more business at a fraction of the cost of what most people turn to with buying leads or digital marketing.
Okay, so when you look at digital marketing, there's a big question. You can build your SEO and build your brand. You can spend it on pay-per-click and get paid for leads. And there's some percentage of your marketing budget. I mean, because sometimes it's 2% of gross, sometimes it's 15% of gross. So how do you differ from the traditional digital marketing agency, for example?
So in our aspect, we have two different offers that we do. We have group mastermind coaching where it's 30 plus people that are in our community. And then we have one-to-one stuff where either I'm working directly with the CEO of the organization, or like this morning, I was on a call with a roofing company doing about $7 million a year in revenue. And I was talking to their sales team, training their sales team how to go build a personal brand organically on social media. The difference is I do have a background in digital marketing, and there's not any aspect where I'm like, hey, don't do digital marketing. But so many people rely solely on digital marketing or do digital marketing far too soon. So basically, people come to me and like, Adam, what do I need to do right now to grow my business? I'm buying leads here. I'm spending money here. I'm doing all of these other things, and I don't know what's working and what's not. So at that aspect, I'm kind of holistically taking a view and being like, maybe you do just need to go continue doing this, or maybe you need to introduce some organic social media posting from your own page, as well as integrate your sales team. So it kind of just allows them to understand like the reality, because so many people feel like they're working with the wrong marketing agency, that they've been screwed over. And I'm kind of just like, hey, this is actually working. You're fine. Hey, you need to make a switch. But anybody. So like if I was to go start a contracting company right now, the first thing I'm doing is making a post saying, hey, I'm starting a roofing company that costs $0, zero time, all of those things. But that's where you can build your business via your existing audience and anybody else that you add on. And then digital marketing is like a cherry on the top when done correctly.
Now, what do you buy? What is building a brand like ABC Construction or building, like my company? Do I build Contractor Staffing Source or I do Paul Sanneman? One's me, I am the
Yep.
founder of the company, one's the company. So do you or you do the company, you do both? If you have ABC Construction, you build, this is John Smith of ABC Construction, or you build ABC Construction.
Yeah. So you build both of them. But the difference is so like if I'm going to start, the example that you gave, if I'm going to go start a construction company, that social media Facebook page, and I'm going to go start Paul's organic, he's already got a Facebook page, has been out there for a while. It's going to take you about 90 days on your personal Paul page as to what it will take anywhere from 12 to 18 months to do on your business page.
Okay. Why?
So the difference is because the algorithms are completely different. Facebook and all social media channels make their money by having that algorithm the way that it is. So unless you have a viral post, they are strategically going to make it take longer for you to get consistency, get super excited about it, because they want you to get frustrated and spend money. And you spend
Okay.
money with ads. Now, on the
Right.
personal side, they need you from your personal profile on social media, producing good content, doing these things. So they're going to show you stuff quicker, or show your stuff to other people quicker, because when that happens, they can now send more ads in your direction and the direction of the people that are connecting with your stuff. So as long as
So
you're
it's sort of whether
consistent
you're a
with it.
buyer or a seller, right?
What do you say?
Sort of like whether you're a buyer or a seller.
Exactly.
So as a
Exactly that.
person, they see me as a buyer and a buyer of stuff, so they want to send stuff to me. And then as a business, they see me as a seller, so they're trying to sell me stuff so I can make sales myself, right?
Exactly. When you're just reverse engineering it, where again, most people, they get caught up because they're like, I don't really want to post for my personal page. I got some personal stuff on there. I just don't like that. Or I have my assistant or somebody in my company post on my business page. Like, that's fine. But then that same owner of that company is going to go spend a bunch of money and have to learn all the mistakes of working with Home Advisor and Angie, and then all the bad marketing companies that are out there, that if they just started posting from their personal page and started adding new people, started getting involved in local contracting and buy, sell, trade Facebook groups, that they could grow $1 million plus company in a very short period of time without having to do all that other stuff. But when they really want to blow things up, they do that other stuff, but they're now not. I see so many contracting companies, and I worked with so many of them that were like, we need this to work or we're going to go out of business. Well, if you put marketing and advertising dollars in that with that train of thought, it's already too late. You're going out of business. There's no marketing and advertising that's going to help you, right? Because they want an overnight success thing, and that's where most people fail.
Okay. So what's the difference between building brand and building personal authority?
So building the business brand is what I would refer to as a potential temporary asset. Meaning, if I go and I build the greatest freaking roofing company brand on social media and all over the internet, I have no idea what if the industry just becomes extinct? Again, just talking out loud. What if I decide to sell the company? What if I decide, hey, I just no longer want to do it? I'm going to take a back seat. I'm still going to own it. What if the company goes out of business? Your identity as the entrepreneur is then tied to a lot of that stuff. And you kind of have hidden behind the success or lack thereof of that company brand. And so it can kind of screw with you when you have to do that next venture. But I use the Shark Tank, the Kevin Harrington example. For many people know, Kevin's involved and has been involved in home services for a long period of time. Is I use that type of example with the instinct of Kevin puts his name on a company because of his personal brand, and people will give him equity. Of course, a lot of times he's paying for that equity, but those brands usually start to skyrocket because Kevin has put his name on it. So by building a personal brand, you're building something that's bigger than just the project or the company that you're doing. You can have your podcast. You can go be a guest on podcasts. You can go speak at industry events. People have literally given equity to me from their companies and industries I have no reason to be a part of, because they wanted my digital marketing skill set and my name on that company. There's just a lot more possibilities that if you build a personal brand that's authentic, that is who you are, you will get a lot of different opportunities that come to you, and your roofing company, contracting company, et cetera, will grow in the process. But it's different than just focusing on your
So give me
business
the
brand.
difference in strategy between building a personal brand and building a company. What would be different? I got that your Facebook page is going to be different, but what else is going to be different in the strategy between building your personal brand and building a company brand?
So you are the top of the funnel at your personal brand. So the strategy is, I want more people to know who Adam McChesney is beyond just the business. When you're building a business brand and a strategy, it's like, I just want people to know us as the roofing company. And when people think of roofing company in St. Louis, I want this company, our company, to be thought of. For me, it's like, no, I want people to know, more people to know, like, and trust Adam McChesney. So that way they listen to my podcast, they go to my YouTube channel, they subscribe all my content all over, and then they ask me to go speak at their events because I'm a serial entrepreneur that doesn't just own a digital marketing company or a personal brand company, but I own multiple assets and I have multiple skill sets. So most people don't just want to be known as X, Y, and Z of the business. They want to be known as who they are as the individual, the entrepreneur, etc. So the way that you do that is by getting more people to know, like, and trust who you are as the individual, not just the business.
Okay. And what are specific, there's podcasts, what speaking engagements, what are specific strategies to build a, what do you call that? Like a thought leader, for lack of a better term, in an industry?
So speaking on stage, running your own podcast, being a guest on podcasts, writing a book, doing webinars, throwing your own events, posting organically all over social
I
media.
think I've done all those things actually.
Those are some of the key aspects. And so a lot of times people ask me, like, I was just on a podcast, a gutter industry podcast earlier today, and they were like, "Hey, Adam, like, what does it mean to have a personal brand, or how does somebody know when they have a personal brand?" I said, everybody has a personal brand, whether you know it or not. It's what people think about you, the individual, when you are not in the room, right? And that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing, but most people, right, if they go and meet you on the street and you're not building a personal brand, you're not doing all that stuff, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, that's Adam. I don't really know what he does," even though you got this business over here in the corner. Or they might be like, "Oh, I only know Adam. Like, I only know that Adam is a roofer. Like, that's all I know about him." Meanwhile, he's got like a $20 million roofing company over there. So if you're building an actual personal brand and doing those things, getting out in the public eyes, when people see that, they're like, "Yeah, Adam's a freaking business wizard. He knows all these different things." I saw him speak over this past summer. I saw him not in person, but I saw pictures from him speaking on the same stage with John Maxwell and Kevin Harrington. And he started this other company. He's doing all these different things, and he helps people in the process. Those are two completely different trains of thoughts based on one person actually building a personal brand and taking it and running it, with the other person, anybody just having a personal brand and kind of hiding behind the business.
So you suggest that anybody that has a company that wants to do well, build their personal brand as well as a company brand. They're two separate subjects, right?
Yes, 1000%.
Okay. And then if you build a company brand, how does that differ from building a personal brand?
So building a company brand, you can be a lot more like business, straightforward, to the point stuff. So you can do a lot more like in your face, quote unquote, selling, right? So when people are going to your business Facebook page, for example, they're not like, "Wow, I'm really, really glad that Adam's Roofing Company made a post today because I really, really need a roofer." It's a pattern interrupt, for example, right? So they're going a lot of times to validate their already previous decision that they might do business with you. So somebody says, "Hey, who's the roofing company to go to in St. Louis?" A bunch of people tag Adam's Roofing Company. They go and then look at our Facebook page to make sure that, like, we're still around. We look somewhat professional. There's no crazy reviews, like all of those things. So they're going for validation, and then they're going to call. So it's more of a brand awareness play, right? So the reason why that's important is because, again, you want to validate their already previously made decision. The difference in the aspect from the personal page is like 80 to 90% of my content has nothing to do with what I sell, whether it has been digital marketing or personal branding. It's all about growing the top of the funnel and the engagement and the reach and things like that, so more people know, like, and trust who Adam McChesney is. So I'll give you a perfect example of this. So last week, at the time of this recording, I made a meme, and that meme was the picture from the Hangover movie. At the very top, they're all dressed up in suits getting ready to go out. And then in the bottom, it was them hanging out, looked like bums after they had been arrested and they were waiting for their car. The top aspect of the meme said starting a business, the idea of it at least. And then the bottom was actually the reality of running the business. It's been my most, other than announcing in my baby photos of our 6-month-old, the most by and far engaged stuff I've ever done. It's been shared almost 100 times now all over the internet with an insane amount of comments. But I got the same result as if I was like, hey, who's struggling in business? Who wants more business? Those people don't realize it's reverse psychology. So if I made a post and say, hey, I have Builders of Authority, I can help you with your business, I can help you with personal branding, people would be like, Adam's trying to go sell himself. I'm good. But when I make a meme and I do something outside of the box, all those people that like, commented, and shared that stuff, most of them were business owners that were like, man, that's the reality of running a business. And so now I've gotten the same result, connected to the same people, and more than I would have as if I would have been, hey, here's what I do, come buy my stuff.
Now, what about the cost, both time and money, of building a personal brand versus building a business brand?
So I would say it's a lot less expensive. I don't spend anything on my personal brand. Now, of course, you could hire people to post for you, but then when you hire people to post for you, you lose some of that authenticity, especially on Facebook. If you had a studio, for example, to do recordings and things like that, of course, it might cost for your podcast or your YouTube channel. But with your business brand, usually you're spending some type of money on ads or digital marketing, etc. Not that you would never do that for your personal brand. You can just get a lot farther with less. And again, all things considered, if I have a brand new company, or I have a company that's never done digital marketing or personal branding before, I can accomplish what I want to as far as an end result in 90 days. That would then go take me 12 to 18 months of doing digital marketing or business building branding behind the business.
Okay. So, and what if somebody in our audience has a company brand? They've been in business for 10 years or 8 years, or whatever, but they've never thought about building a personal brand. How do they go about doing that?
Just get started posting, or take a baseline audit of what you're currently doing from the Adam McChesney, for example, separate from the business. Maybe you are posting once a week. We'll try to post every other day. Maybe you're posting once a day. Maybe you try to post twice a day. So I would just say take an audit of where you're currently at and do more of it, at least to get started, to figure out what the bandwidth is and to build the new habit and the routine of doing more.
Okay. So if someone is interested in building a personal brand, you seem like the right guy to talk to versus a standard digital marketing agency. How do they get in touch with you? What does it cost? And how does that whole thing work?
Yeah, absolutely. So the easiest place to get connected with all the things that we're doing is you can go to buildauthority.co, or you can go and type in Builders of Authority on Facebook. We have a free Facebook group where I post in there daily and then do a weekly training every single Tuesday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can reach out to me on Facebook or on Instagram at Adam L. McChesney, but we have two different options that are available. We have our group mastermind, which meets twice a week. You get access to a private Facebook group, and you get access to a personal branding course that we've created, as well as 2 30-minute calls with my executive assistant every single month. And she helps you build out a lot of the processes and systems for your own personal branding strategy and system. That's $500 a month with a one-time setup fee of $1,000. Or we have our one-to-one coaching program that is available, and that's $1,500 a month, which gets you 2 extra 30-minute calls with me with a $2,500 one-time setup. Those are different options. You'll be able to see it all online. And yeah, a little bit more information there.
Cool. Well, if you're interested in building a personal brand, I think Adam's the guy to talk to, because I know that's something that a lot of contractors have not done, and certainly means for marketing that probably is a big bang for your buck. So I would suggest, if you haven't built a personal brand, you should probably give Adam a call.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.